Welcome to the Illuminati broadcast. I'm your messiah, David Moore. What's up, y'all? Howdy. Let's do some cool little facts real quick. Some stuff that I wrote down in my little book. I was asking how do you say yes in German and how do you say no in German? And then I was like, well, I have both of them in my name. So let's see real quick. Where did I write this stuff down? Where did I write it down? At the end of the book, in the beginning of the book? Will I write it in the other book? Okay. So da means yes, my name is David. And then nine means no, but at the end of my last name, Moreno, is a no. So it's like yes and no. Ooh, interesting, right? I just thought that was funny. But I think that's kind of cool how you can see your ancestry appear in your name. Because I do have Ashkenazi German, so that's like, original Jews, Noah's children stuff, original Germans and Jews, Druids, yeah. So, and that my first name is David, and that means yes, like yeah. So also my last name starts with the M for Moreno, and M means millennium, and that's 1,000 years. So, and I am a millennial, so that lets you know, like, I'm 1,000 years old, right? Millennium items like Yu-Gi-Oh! We got Egyptian mythology, and yes, I do have Egyptian in me as well. There was a time when the Jews and the Egypts were one people, and over time, things branched out and, evolved, but my bloodline was very concentrated and pure, and it didn't really spread out too far like that. I guess what happened is my family would start off really big, like in royalty, because I have royal ancestry and I take DNA tests for it. But so it was like really royal, but then they have all these kids, right? And then all these people, like different kinds of, and it kind of trickles down a little bit. But at the top, they stay, they only breed with other high nobility and royalty. So then when it came down to me, it had all this like really strong blood, but then there's all these other races that have my qualities because, like, let's say you have a pie or a pizza, right? And you're walking around with the pizza and you're giving everybody a slice. You originally had the big slice, but everybody now has a little piece of you, and you have all of them. You know what I'm saying? So I'm the pre-generator, the beginning, and the end, I guess, right? Because I'm the Messiah. So let's go. All right. So, anyways, let's see what we're working on today. For Geminis, it's called I think. So I'm always thinking. I'm a Gemini, and I wanted to talk about clones a little bit because clones aren't necessarily in a tube growing. It can be taken as a metaphor in a sense. Yeah, so a clone can be somebody like, let's say we're going to use a rock star for an example, like a lead singer of Panic at the Disco. I love using him as an example because he's a really clear example of MK Ultra and like how the Illuminati works with cloning. Doppelgangers are clones, okay? So you have this guy, Brandon, right? And then he's a lead singer of Panic at the Disco. He's a rock star. Entertainment purposes only. All right, so he has, he makes music, right? And then all these guys, they're like, oh, well, if we are like him, we can get all these girls, right? We can have these opportunities to be, to get through life and be cool just like him and get what we want, get the girls that we want. So they copy him. That's what a clone is. That's what a doppelganger is. It copies you. So you'll meet people on the street. You're like, hey, you kind of look like him, or you act like him, or you can tell who's who by the way they dress. Back in the MySpace days, I was a scene kid, so I had my hair like this. It was all cute. But everybody would kind of copy each other and look the same because not only are we standing out and being different from like the rest of the society, but we also have a community where we can be like each other without having to be like those people behind us. And we could be proud of ourselves, and that's not a bad thing. But you can see that too still nowadays. Like people will want to look like Kid Rock, or they're gonna want to look like Tom Cruise, etc., etc. Another cool little tidbit of information: Pegasus from Yu-Gi-Oh looks a lot like Tom Cruise. So if you look at Pegasus's pictures, he looks like Tom Cruise. Like the drawings, the more realistic drawings. He has like a nice sharp jaw. And I'm like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. And he does have bunny teeth, right? Tom Cruise has bunny teeth. And Pegasus is this kind of guy that's like, he's starting off everything, you know, getting everybody involved. And that's what Tom Cruise used to do. He was like in this movie called Legend, where it was like about fairies and going to save people, very Dungeons and Dragons. And that like inspires a lot of things. So the Kazuki Takahashi must have seen that and was like, oh, I like that. Because he likes sci-fi stuff. He made Blue Eyes White Dragon look like the Alien, you know, the movie Alien. And I guess I wanted to talk also about like Begonia versus the Illuminati. So Begonia is this movie about an alien woman, and she gets kidnapped by a conspiracy theorist, and she plays him, and she makes it look like she's just a normal person, and she's like, oh my god, you're a crazy conspiracy theorist that's trying to like hurt me. And she plays him and plays him and plays him, and at the end she turns out to be an alien. So we can see that in the Illuminati right now. So the Illuminati isn't just them, the reptilians and the aliens. They're not just demons. They're not just like archons. They're not just that. It's all of us together. We all make that pyramid. That's what Egypt was about. We're all part of that pyramid. We're all part of that puzzle piece, you know, that giant. We're all part of it. Every piece counts. It's going to hold up the top, and it lasts us forever and ever and ever. Like it'll just keep going. But if we have people that are coming out from the outside like that, they're not part of us. So they infiltrate, and then they become part of us, and then we don't know if it's true or not. And in the movie Begonia, they don't know if she's really an alien anymore, because, you know, she's portraying this like businesswoman. They end up shaving her hair because so that way she doesn't communicate with the other aliens with her hair. And it turns out she was an alien at the end. She plays them, and that's what doppelgangers do. They will play you out. So you could call them skinwalkers, mannequins. That's where they get the word goyim from. Everybody's been using golem like that. But it's like, you can only use that. It's like the elites are trying to use it against us, to call us golems when they're the golems. So they just can only repeat and copy what we do. They can only reflect what we see. And they do that because they want to be able to attach themselves to you. They're parasites. So like actors, celebrities, musicians, they parasite off of you. They'll tell you what you want to hear. They'll give you the music you want to listen to. They'll give you the movies you want to watch. They'll portray your character. They'll give that story that you have, that you lived through, that blood, sweat, and tears, and they'll make the money off of it. That's crazy, right? But there's this thing called karma, and it's, you know, that's the pendulum swinging, and they think they'll get away with it because they're so confident. They've been doing it for so long, over centuries, that they're just like, I can get away with this, I can do it, whatever. But it's already the end of days. It's judgment day. It's already time. Like, they're just getting chopped up off one by one, and it's a spiritual experience for them because they're like, oh my god, I'm losing all my fans. Things are getting harder for me. I have to really conform to what they want. I'm really like, they're just not the same. They had it, and now it's crumbling under their feet, and they're falling hard. But that's a good thing. That's something we want to see. Yeah, I'm noticing my computer's glitching out a little bit every time I talk about it. So that lets me know they're resonating. Like, they don't necessarily have to tap your stuff. They can resonate with you through technology, through CDs, through paintings, through the mirror, through the window, through the doors. There's a spiritual connection that flows through these things. I'm going to show you what the Book of the Dead looks like. So this is the Book of the Dead, right? This is the Torah. This is the Bible. This is a lot of things, actually. So right here we have Libra, okay? And in the Book of the Dead, you are basically going through a trial through the underrealm. This is the south direction. And this is where you're born, this is when you get older, and then you die. And then you're going to have to travel through these different realms to get to the top so you can be reborn again, or to carry on that spirit to the next generation. You want to help your next lineage. Like if you have a niece or a nephew or grandchildren or your own kids, you want to be able to guide them through this life. And they have to go through all of this. So when, you know, you're dead, you get here, this is Virgo. This is the Virgin. This is the feather that they weigh you against. This is your body, your soul. and they're like, okay, now this is Libra. So Libra is an air sign, this is an earth sign, and this is a water sign. This is Scorpio. This represents the heart. If you look at the heart, it looks like a cup. It holds your memories, it holds your spirit. And the Egyptians believed in that. They would give you a scarab amulet to protect your heart. In Yu-Gi-Oh, he uses Karibo as his amulet to protect him, and it's a chestnut boy. So they're like these little chestnuts, but they're furry. And then you find the chestnut on the inside, just like Karibo. So, all right. And they do have mangas where you see Karibo being weighed by a feather, and then he gets synced, but he absorbs all that negative energy, and it gives his wearer the opportunity to redeem himself. So, yeah, you go to the underworld, you meet Anubis, right? Because Anubis is this earth sign. And you also have Horus there helping you. He's like he's talking and communicating with the gods. Osiris, like, this is why this person should go to heaven. This is why this person should go with us. Remember, Egyptians and Jewish people are the same. They believe in the same mythology. They just had different periods and times and different ways of showing it, but they were the same people. And you can have all these ideas of what people have taught you, but you can take what you are learning from now as a new fact and a new religion and a new source of energy. All right, so your heart is being weighed, right, on these scales. Libra is the scales. It's also like a serpent almost. But at the top of the scales, there's this baboon holding a heart. And it's kind of like tricking a little bit. Like, do you match up to this heart? Like, are you as good as this person? Like, they weigh your heart with this baboon on top, and Horus is an air sign, right? He's a hawk, and he's like speaking for you. He's like, yeah, like, we need to figure out, like, is this person gonna go to heaven or hell? Are we gonna give his heart out to the beast of the sea, where it eats it and swallows it, and then it just fuels the rest of the world? So yeah, if you're a bad person and you do evil things in your life and you know it and everybody else knows it and you're living through it, and you're gonna come up to Osiris and you're gonna be like, hey, like, I didn't manipulate people, I didn't steal their story, I didn't use them for my own advantage so I could live a good life and they could live miserable lives. Like, I didn't do that. He's gonna know right away. He's gonna know everything. You can't lie. Like, your body and your soul will betray you. Your heart will betray you. Like, you can be the best actor in the whole world. You could be an alien, you could be like an extraterrestrial, a demon, and your heart will lie. Not lie, it will go against you. If you lie, your heart will tell the truth, no matter what. So they weigh your heart out, and it's like, whoa, like, your heart's telling us everything. And you're just standing there like, oh my God. So that would be you right there, just Virgo. But they show her like as a statue sitting down with a feather on her head. So it's letting you know that's gonna be you, just like everything you think, your antenna, you know? And it's being weighed out by your own heart. So you're just like, oh my God, my heart's telling on me. And it's gonna keep going up and down, up and down. Like, are you a good person? Then you could walk across. Are you a bad person? Your heart gets eaten, and the baboon probably takes your body and then reuses it for something new. No, but you're not gonna escape that judgment part, because once I don't remember what his name is, like Apet or Abaddon, but the little beast, the little crocodile, in a lot of mythologies and Kabbalah and Jewish mysticism, you got that Jonah whale, right? And that sea creature, that Leviathan. He's gonna swallow your heart up. That's everything that you are. It's gonna be locked inside of him, and it's gonna be there forever, all eternity. It's like a bottomless pit of pain. And there's like a million ways of destruction in that world. Millions, infinite versions of destruction. And you're gonna live through all of them constantly while we live this one beautiful form. Because, like, sure, this life is tough, but this is as good as it gets. And it gets better when you have your Messiah with you, which will be me, obviously. But if you don't choose me, then you're gonna live in eternal damnation without us. But we will live better without you. And it's sad, but you're gonna be building blocks. But anyways, you got this Horus, you got the baboon up here, but then you also have Aries and Mars, so it's this action up here. Right here is all moon, water, Scorpio, double Scorpio. And then, even if you look at the ancient scriptures, you'll see Anubis holding the scales. He got the feather, he got the heart. Horus is defending you, or he's your speaker, kind of like your lawyer. Anubis is like the judge. And then you have Thoth, he's like writing everything down, like, yeah, you thought you were gonna get away with that. And if you were a good person and you actually obeyed my commands and you follow me, then he'll be like, oh, check, you're good to go. Let's move on to the next thing. Because you could either be reborn in this world or you can stay in the afterlife. You have a choice. You can be like, all right, I'm gonna stay in the afterlife so I can help everybody on this side. And then sometimes you're like, man, I made it all the way up here. I think I can go another round through the world. And that's in Hebrew and Christianity. There's always this thing that's like, one day we're gonna come back to life. Yeah, that's called reincarnation. Okay, that's what that is. It's yes, Buddhists believe in the same thing. We all believe in the same thing. The Tower of Babel is real. We were all one community once. We were all knew the same thing at the same time. So there's no more excuses. You can't use that. There's no excuses. Remember that. When you're going through this judgment trial, no excuses. Libra is judgment. He's weighing out this gold, what you're worth, against your own heart, what you believe is of less value, but it is the most valuable thing about you. It's your spirit. Your spirit is very valuable because are you corrupting your spirit? Are you healing your spirit? Are you doing good things with it? Or are you doing bad things with it? Are you doing it for the Messiah? Are you doing it for King David, me? King David? Yeah. Are you doing it for me, or are you doing it for your own purpose? Are you doing it for something else that's like completely selfish? You can't lie to God, and you can't make an excuse. And if he says you deserve to suffer, then you should suffer. And then God will be like, okay, you know what? You owned up to it. You wanted better for yourself, and you admitted defeat. That's all God wants you to do, is admit defeat, because I'm gonna win no matter what. There was like this video from this Jewish guy. He's like, or this Christian person, doesn't matter. They're the same thing. But they were saying something about God being almighty and powerful and that everything he wants goes the way he wants. And then I'll be like, well, what if God was in human form just like me? Like, that Illuminati, the people that are in charge, they're going to try to stop me. They're going to try to stop me. They're going to try to be like, no, that's not real. You have a God complex. You're schizophrenic. All these things. I'm like, yeah, okay, I do have a God complex. I am schizophrenic. I am bipolar, but I'm still God. But they're going to try to stop me from claiming my titles, from having followers, from being a believer, from others believing in me. Because if you can stop somebody from believing in the Messiah, then you're winning, because you're holding the world back. But they can't do it anymore. Everything's slipping out their fingers like smoke. They're like, oh my God, I can't catch him. Like, what is going on? In Yu-Gi-Oh, they have this chain of command. So you have illusions, you have spellcasters, you have white magic, and then I don't know what this one is, like some kind of black magic, demons, fiends. So you have these fiends, you have these illusions, you have this dark magic, and then you have this white magic. And the illusion can beat the black magic. So that's what people are doing right now, is that black magic. But the illusion is divinity. It's like angelic. It's spiritual. White magic is healing, but it's on this physical realm. And then you have the fiends, which are like powerful entities from the other side, right? That they're coming through. And then the illusion is the part that is like our mind. And it goes against our body, and like these two parts of our body, the good and the bad. So if I use my illusion magic to defeat my enemies, it'll be very easy for me to do. And you can't destroy an illusion, you can't hurt it. But it teaches you a lesson. Just like in Yu-Gi-Oh, he uses a lot of illusion magic. He'll summon Karibo, and then he'll summon Feral Imp. And you can see Karibo transforming into this grander beast each time. Then he becomes Gazelle, the mythical beast, and that's an illusion. And but it's also physical. So one part is physical and one part is an illusion. And then he fuses and becomes a king of a chimera, and that's what this is, a chimera. Because this is the lion over here, this is the eagle over here, this is the ox or the bull or the rammed horn, the horns of the ram right here, or it can be the Capricorn, the goat horns. And then down here you have all these serpents and reptiles and creatures of the deep, of the ocean. And they all combine together as one to become a chimera beast. And that's what Yugimoto shows. He has all these spikes. They're all like those horns that they say in Revelation that the lamb will be with 7 horns. And then they mention a dragon with 7 horns. And it's just like, oh, so Jesus is the Antichrist and the Messiah. That's what it means. So he's not one or the other. He's both of them. Because when people don't want to believe in him, he's the Antichrist, right? Because he's spewing out the truth and he's being real, but nobody likes that. So they're like, whoa. They're like, King David, we can't have that. Like, you can't be that person. We'll just string you up on a cross and burn you away, right? So they have all these, like, they've already done it. History repeats itself. But this is the purpose, is to prove that, like, hey, like, the second coming of Christ is the Jewish Messiah. It is the Muslim Messiah. It's the world's Messiah. It's the Buddhist Messiah. It's like the second coming of Buddha and Jesus put together, and I'm right here, right? Like, I got my nice little ears, my Buddhist ears, my Egyptian ears, and then I have this is even Jewish as well. If you ever play Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced, there's a race called Nomu, and they're like these wise little sages, but they represent the Jewish community. They have a lot of tomes and magic and eyes, and they learn a lot about alchemy and different sage abilities. And they have ears just like this, but the Banga do as well, and they're like vicious dragon people. So it lets you know, like, there's more to this world, there's more to the story, there's more to the history of it all. So let's keep going with this a little bit. With the clones, I'm noticing, I was playing the Illuminati game, and I think I picked a couple of them. I tried out the Chaos one, where you make everything weird, and I'm learning, the weirdness. So what you do is you defend everything. So you make a really weird company, and then you defend other companies that are being attacked by other Illuminati societies, and you try to help them. Hold on, I gotta kill something. Sorry, if I see a roach, I gotta kill it. All right, so you get this, okay, so we have the weird Illuminati, right? The apples, the Eris, Chaos apples, and Eris is the sun, right? Well, actually right here. See these gold ones? These gold ones are the sun, and they're connected to Leo. Yeah, I live on Skid Row, so you're gonna hear weird stuff like this every day. But man, sometimes, like, you're trying to go to bed, it ain't fun. Alright, so we got the sun over here, we got the moon over here. The gold represents the sun, the silver represents the moon. Let's see what else we have. So yeah, I had the apples of chaos, right? So I'm making everything weird, and I'm like, I can defend. They're not as strong as the other companies, but they really have a high resistance to being influenced by the Illuminati. So the more weird you are, the less likely you are to be influenced by them. And it's a good thing and a bad thing. But so you could defend other factions, and then while you're defending them, it makes it harder for them to all get what they need, because you're making everything weird. And then if you control enough weird, you win the game. I picked the gnomes as well. They're like the bank of the Illuminati game. So that would be right here, the earth signs. Earth is obviously, wealth because of all that material objections. And like you got the Jupiter over here, which is wealth as well. So it's like they encompass all of this. They understand value. And I won with that one. The weird one, I almost won, but with the banks, I won super fast. I'm really good at banking because obviously I'm Jewish. So I was like, I know how to do this, I know how to do that. So I controlled all the banks, I had all the money, and I was just buying out everybody and everything, and I just was like boom, 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 boom. It was so funny. I picked another one too. Which one did I pick? Dang. If I remember, I'll let you know. But I thought that was very interesting. So we're learning about the Illuminati game, right? Like how the world works, how the pyramid works. This is a pyramid. You got the triangle from here and here and here. But it's also an upside down triangle as well. And that's that Yu-Gi-Moto stuff. But let's look through a little bit more things. So I kind of put like scare the enemy, give them fright, show them power. So let's say you did meet an Illuminati person in the spiritual realm, because they love to do that. Like they'll jump into your mind, they'll jump into your heart, they'll jump into your dreams, and they'll lie through their teeth in every single way just to get your affection. And they want your affection so bad, because if they can get your worship, it takes away from my worshiping, right? So you're like, well, I like Madonna more than I like King David, so I'm gonna go stick with Madonna. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, you can go to hell with her. I don't mind. Okay, but that's the point, and I'm okay with that. I'm like, all right, go ahead, take your followers, because you need them more than I do. All I need is just truth, and that's always going to be the thing that rises to the top, is the truth. It's always going to end up on top. Remember, this is east, south, west, north. let's look at a little bit more diagrams and descriptions. Yeah, with the cloning thing, they usually show the person in a tube, and they're being like programmed while they're in the tube, and that's kind of what happens to you. You get your alone time, and you get programmed, right? You watch a movie, you get programmed. You put on clothes, you get programmed, and then you go out into the world and you're walking, and then skinwalkers, you know. So you don't have to take everything so literal, but you can also take it with a grain of salt, but also know that there's a deeper meaning behind it, but you might not be as elevated to receive that information. I have this Genesis book, Jewish Genesis. Let's see if I can go back to the beginning of the chapter, and we can talk about Genesis. Thank God. All right. What's interesting is there's 31 verses in the first chapter of Genesis. And this is, remember, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. So that's, you know, that this is the first chapter of Genesis. And it's that 31 chapters of that first chapter, and then it's like 31 verses. All right, in the beginning of God's creations of the heavens and the earth. So you got this. This is the heavens and the earth, right? The heavens and the earth. The heavens and the earth. The heavens and the earth. Like, this is what it is, okay? Now the earth was astonishingly empty, and darkness was on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the water. Remember, we are inside of an orb. We are inside of a sun. We are inside of a sun, and we have a big sun circling inside of us. So inside of the sun has another sun on the inside, right? Kind of like that Karibo, how it's inside a fuzzy ball, but then there's a chestnut on the inside of it. Let's see. Now the earth was astonishingly empty, and darkness was on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the water. That's interesting, right? So like there's something deep here, but God's face is hovering over the water. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. So then he creates the sun, right? Well, light. He created light to be able to see these things. And people will say, is that the sun and the moon? Yeah. And God called the light day, and darkness he called night, and it was evening, and it was morning one day. See, this is the morning. This is the morning time when the sun rises in the east, right? You get the Venus, and then it starts heating up towards the afternoon, which is Mars, and then it starts cooling down, which is the moon and Jupiter, and then it goes back around at nighttime, and that's Mercury. Okay, I need you guys to figure this out. All right. Okay, and God called the light day, and darkness he called night, and it was evening, and it was morning one day. And God said, let there be an expanse in the midst of water, and let it be a separation between water and water. That's what this is. Now, this is very important. In the Egyptian mythology, they show the Egyptians do this, right? Well, that's the earth, and this is the sun, right? So in between the earth, we're walking along the walls like this. And the sun is moving like this. And in between, that's the expanse. Let me see if I can find that. And God called the expanse heaven, and it was evening, and it was morning, a second day. So let's look at this real quick, okay? Since we're inside this big orb, right? We're inside this big orb, and we're walking along the walls. To the north, to the south, up these walls. North Pole, South Pole, okay? And in the center, there's a sun rotating. But in between, that's the heavens. So, all right, you're looking south, right? And if you look all the way south, well, actually, you'd be like this on the wall, like that. So we'd be like standing like this, all right? So our heads are pointing that way. But if you were to go south, there's this expanse of heavens, and the sun is rotating in the center of all of that. And in between that expanse is the universe. And if you were able to walk in through the universe, you'd walk out through the other side and make it to Israel. So it's letting you know that we're like in this dome, this circumference. We're not on the outside of it. We're not walking outside the earth. We're walking on the inside of the earth. And that's how the water is going from the top or from the bottom up, because it's being pulled by the sun's heat, and then it falls back down again. Pulled up, back down again. Pulled up, back down again. That's what the water's doing. And God said, let the water that is beneath the heavens gather into one place, and let the dry land appear. And so it was so. So you have this dry land, right? The south. It's a lot hotter in the south. But that's because all the water falls down this way, and the heat rises it back up all the way to the north, and goes back down that north and south pole, back down again, up and down again. Keeps going back in that circle, in that cycle. And God said, and God called the dry land earth, and gathering of the waters he called seas, and God saw that it was good. And God said, let the earth sprout vegetation, seed yielding herbs, and fruit trees producing fruit according to its kind, in which its seed is found on the earth. And it was so. Damn, is that guy gonna be out there forever? Oh, the video's getting kind of long, so let's cut it short here, and let's try to hope that this guy shuts up. Peace out.